Thanks very much, everyone. But I want to quickly walk through. So what is intelligent disobedience? What are the elements? I'm going to go back to the guide dog model for a moment, but you see how it maps to the human model. Observe the risk. Pause the action. Don't instantly obey. Resist obeying until you can judge for yourself, is this safe to do? In other words, is it putting ourselves into unnecessary harm in order to achieve the objective? And what guide dogs are taught is not only to disobey, but let's say that the blind person goes to the train station every day to commute into London, and usually the train lines up here, so he starts to walk towards where the door should be, and for that day the train is not lined up right. The dog is trained to counterpull, to actually pull the leader in the opposite direction. That may be something you may need to have to do. Also, the guide dog can't just leave the blind person stranded. So again, if they're walking to the train station every day, but yesterday there was a big storm and there are trees down and power lines down, the guide dog must not obey, but he can't leave the person standing there. He's got to find an alternative, if possible, to reach the goal of getting to the train, but at least to keep the leader safe. The dog can go under the barriers. The dog can jump over. It has to know the leader can't. And it has to find a path. In other words, it now assumes the leadership role, finds the safe path, executes it, and then returns the lead to the natural leader in the team. Those are the elements. Now, we all have blind spots. So this metaphor extends beyond those who are just legally blind. And the higher up you go in your organization, the bigger are your blind spots. You're further removed from the action on the ground, from the context on the ground. And if you give a wrong order that's executed, the damage you do is much greater because of the size of, the vehicle, if you will, that you are commanding. So what, as a leader, is the smart response? And this is important too, because it's not just the dog that's trained. The blind person has to be trained as well. Otherwise, they will not utilize the dog's intelligent disobedience to keep them safe. So as a leader, you have to pay attention. If you are getting dissent or even disobedience from someone who usually complies, that's a big flag for you to pay attention. We, as human beings, will tend to react. What do you mean you're not going to do it? You've got to manage your reactions and instead recognize these are professionals in your team who are trying to alert you to a danger. You've got to be willing to probe your blind spots, asking really good questions. Help me see what you're seeing. What am I missing that you're seeing? Until you really understand what they are trying to warn you about. The mission must always be more important than your own status. You do not lose status because you rescind an order that you gave, if it is right for the mission. So you evaluate the risk or the opportunity, because the dissent you're getting may be pointing you in the direction of an opportunity that you are not seeing. Change the order if warranted, but whether you change the order or not, thank the team member for the courage to have spoken candidly in dissent. If you do that, you will build a culture of intelligent disobedience. Thank you. Thanks.